Okay, so this step is a little trickier, but it'll be okay. We're going to change some of our existing code and introduce some new Firebase functions. The goal of this video is to check when a user logs in to see if the account ID already exists. If it does, then maybe we can welcome them back, but if it doesn't, then we'll save them into this database. This way we'll stop from duplicating the code that we have here. So back in our code, let's scroll to the onAuth function. Once again, the onAuth checks for any changes in authentication. We're going to change this to be a getAuth function. The getAuth function only runs when at the beginning, and it only runs once. It checks to see if the user's logged in and saves that data. So we're going to set our auth data to be the getAuth function. So now that we have added the getAuth function, we don't need the onAuth function and therefore the auto data callback. Before we delete that though, let's grab some of the data inside this auth data, and we'll paste it inside our login function. Because their user logs in, they've authenticated, so we know that that's good. We can slash out this extra console log and just double check everything here is okay. I'm going to copy this and now we can delete this auth data callback and onAuth function, and I'll paste my login function up here. It's just a logical way to read it for it to be first. Okay, so now that everything's set and ready, let's make a call to the database that will check to see if our user is new or not. So we'll call to our users table. We will use the exists function to check if the user already exists, and we'll put that to a variable if exists. If the user already exists, then we'll just console that the user is already in our system. And if they don't, then we will take this and we will save up to the database. So here I have users and up here I have user. So let's just change this to user so everything matches properly. So we can restart the server. We'll delete all this data in here because we've changed the structure. We'll refresh here and we can see that I get saved as a Twitter user. I'll log out, refresh and type something here so that I can log back in. I'll log in with Twitter. And we can see users already in the system. And if we go back to Firebase, right, I'm not getting saved anymore. So that's great. So we just have one problem now. If we press refresh here, even though we're already logged in when we try to type a message, we get this pop-up. And that's because I'm only checking the auth data inside this login function. So we should do that at the very beginning when the page loads. So if auth data, and then we'll assign the user ID and the name. I can copy and paste this here. And I'll also just do a quick console to say that the user's already logged in. Great. Now if we save this and refresh, it says the user's already logged in. So we know we can type a message and we no longer get that pop-up. So that's perfect. Now that we are saving the data properly and Firebase is working perfectly for our user data, we're going to start in the next videos trying to retrieve that data and use it so we can display it on our screen.